The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good evening. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 26th day of September 2023. We were supposed to bring you Game 3 of the American League Championship Series between the Seattle Mariners and Oakland A's tonight. That was the regularly scheduled program. But the death of Brooks Robinson, probably the greatest defensive third baseman of all time, overshadows that. And so instead, we pay tribute to him by playing an exhibition game from 1964, the Baltimore Orioles and the Chicago White Sox. Two good teams. In fact, they finished respectively 1 and 2 games behind the New York Yankees that year in the American League. Robinson's defensive abilities was beyond compare. From 1958 to 1975, he was the American League Gold Glover at third base, which is remarkable if you think about it. Not just an entire decade, but 16 straight years of excellence in the field. We'll get to his offensive abilities in the 60s as we go along with the game. But Robinson was more than just an Ozzie Smith punch and Judy hitter. He was, for a few years, he might have been the most feared hitter in the American League. And so we pay tribute to him tonight with a game from Old Memorial Stadium in the rain in Baltimore. How you doing, Steeler fan? This is not from a real game. Usually the tribute games are games that they actually played. Brooks Robinson's best offensive game in 1964 was in Boston. And you really want to see him in Baltimore and all that. So we get good pitchers against, the best versus the best. And Milt Pappas, Gimpy was his nickname, 25 years old, gets the call for Baltimore. He would be traded in a couple years to Cincinnati for Frank Robinson. 25 years old, fastball 85, a fly ball pitcher. In 36 starts, 252 innings, 225 hits, 89 runs, 83 earned. He gave up 21 homers, walked 48, struck out 157, 16-7 in 64. 7 shutouts. I am doing well, and thank you for the sub. The league hit 239 against him, and his earned run average was 296. Here's the lineup he will face. Al Weiss will play center field and lead off for Chicago. It is Don Buford at second, batting second. Pete Ward at third, goes third. Ron Hansen, the former Oriole, cleans up at short. It's Floyd Robinson, not Frank, in right field for the White Sox. Nicholson in left will bat sixth. Tommy McCraw at first, batting seventh. McNerney behind the plate goes eighth. And Gary Peters, little change here in pitch counts from 64 to 01. He's due to go 140 pitches. Defensively for Baltimore, Boog Powell a 4 and a 5 in left. Robinson, again, not Frank, Eddie is a 3 and a 6 in center. Sam Bowens is a 5 and a 6 in right. The man of the hour, of course, a 10 at third. Louis Aparicio, who's over from the White Sox, is a 10 at short. Jerry Adair, a 7 at second. Norm Seaburn, a 6 at first. Brown behind the plate, a 6 and a 5. And Pappas is an 8 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Weiss, 247, 2 homers, and 23 RBI. A good bunter. So we'll play for that. Weiss swings a ground ball to Seaburn. That's fair. He'll take it to the bag himself for the out. 62 degrees, raining here in Baltimore. Wind blowing in from right center at 5. And no, that's not Johnny Unitas warming up in right field. Don Buford, Future Baltimore Oriole at 262, 4 homers and 30 RBI. Pappas deals. There's a ground ball left side, base hit. Powell will grab it. Oh, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. How you doing, Pesky Pole? Pete Ward at 282, 23 homers when that was a big deal, and 94 RBI. So Buford on first. Pappas from the stretch. There's a fly ball to Powell. Boog is over and makes the catch, 2 out. Steeler fan, by the way, used his Amazon Primes. Doesn't cost him anything. Cost Jeff Bezos $2.50, but it doesn't cost him anything. Ron Hansen, 261, 20 homers and 68 RBI. 2 out here in the top of the first. Pappas deals. Hansen swings. Popped up left side. Adair will make the grab and the catch, and that will do it for the White Sox in the first. Half an inning in the books. They get a hit, and that's it. They leave on a runner, no score. So Gary Peters, unappreciated, I think, in history. Rookie of the Year in '63, 27 years old, fastball at 88, and a ground ball pitcher. 36 starts, went the route 11 times, 274 innings, 217 hits, 89 runs, 76 earned. He gave up 20 homers. He walked 105, which is a lot, and struck out 205 en route to a 20-8 record with a 2.5 ERA. Baltimore's lineup. Louis Aparicio will lead off at short. He stole 57 bases that year. Norm Seaburn at first will bat second. The man of the hour, Brooks Robinson, will play third, obviously, and bat third. Boog Powell cleans up in left. Sam Bowens in right, bats fifth. Robinson in center goes sixth. Jerry Adair at second goes seventh. Sam Brown behind the plate eighth, and Milt Pappas, who threw 14 pitches in his half of the first, will go ninth. He should throw about 145. My goodness. Nicholson a 5 and a 1 in left. Al Weiss a 2 and a 2 in center. He would be better known for hitting some home runs in the '69 series against these Orioles. Floyd Robinson a 5 and a 5 in right. Pete Ward, not a bad third baseman in his own right, in 8. Ron Hansen an 8 at short. Don Buford a 6 at second. Tommy McCraw a 7 at first. And Jerry McNerney a 4 and a 3 behind the plate. Gary, good fielder. He's an 8 with a .950 fielding percentage. Aparicio at 266, 10 homers and 37 RBI. Going to swing away here. And that is a fly ball to right center. Back goes Weiss. And there is 1 out. For Norm Seaburn, pictured here with the San Francisco Giants. This is the default picture set, by the way, that I downloaded years ago. Don't ask. I don't know where I got it. Seaburn at 245 does not hit lefties well. 12 homers and 56 RBI. Gets away from McNerney on strike 3, down to McCraw, and Seaburn is retired. And so here is the 1964 MVP. He led the majors in RBI. He was 21st in home runs, 7th in batting average, 10th in doubles. And between 1964 and 1966, Brooks Robinson was no lower than 3rd in any MVP discussion in the American League. He hit .317, which if you play Immaculate Grid, that's going to get you some points. 35 doubles, 28 home runs, and he drove in 119. Peters delivers, and Robinson sends this one high into left, but Nicholson will corral that, 1 out. Or that's the side, rather, because Uncle Ron's paying attention as usual. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1, no score. So Floyd Robinson, Nicholson, and McCraw to face Pappas here in the second. Floyd hit .301, not bad. 11 homers and 59 RBI. Struck him out. Pappas got him on a 2-2 fastball on the inside corner. So here's Dave Nicholson. Dave at 204, 13 homers and 39 RBI. Comiskey played so big back then in the mid-60s and all through it. Chicago just didn't really have sluggers. They had people who could get on base, but not anyone who was just going to tear the cover off the ball. Got him. So Pappas is fanned too. He 85-mile-an-hour fastball on an 0-2, and that'll bring up Tommy McCraw. Tommy at 261, 6 homers and 36 RBI. Pappas deals. McCraw hits this one past Seaburn down the line and right. Bowens cuts it off. The throw to Aparicio is not in time. So that's a double, and that brings up Jerry McNerney, whose teeth are too good to be a catcher, don't you think? Jerry at 215. He's a better hitting catcher. 3 homers and 23 RBI. Pappas from the line now. And there's a line drive to left. Powell will pick it up, throws it in, and in typical fashion, the team that we're not honoring goes ahead by the score of 1-0. So a double for McNerney. Your teeth look fine. Here's Gary Peters at 208, 4 homers and 19 RBI. Pappas deals, and it's a fly ball right field. That's well struck. Bowens, and that's gone. I never even gave you Peters' numbers. Apparently they're quite good because he just hit a home run. And it's now 3-0 White Sox. Peters hit 4 home runs. He hit 208 and drove in 19. And here it is again. One of the few years, by the way, the Orioles didn't wear a script for their home word mark. It's just printed block letters. They do have the traditional Oriole on the hat. The cartoon bird would come, I believe, in '66. So Milt Pappas opening 9, 36 pitches, an inning and 2/3, 4 hits, the home run to Peters, and he struck out 2. Al Weiss is 0 for 1. There's a ground ball to Seaburn. So that's going to stay fair, and he takes it to the bag himself, and Weiss is retired. Well, that was a long, loud inning. 3 runs for the White Sox on 3 hits and no errors. We go to the bottom of the second here. It's the White Sox 3, the Orioles nothing. And here is Boog Powell. Boog hit .290, primarily a left fielder. Hit 39 home runs, polished off 500 racks of ribs, and drove in 99. Peters deals. Powell swings, ground ball to third. Ward will let it roll foul. And the count is 0-2. There's a fly ball to right. Robinson is there. 1 out. Here's Sam Bowen. Sam at 263, 22 homers and 71 RBI. The Orioles had come tantalizingly close to winning the American League a couple times in the mid-'60s before they got over the hump in '66. The '60 team was really competitive, and as I said in the open, the '64 team finished in 3rd place, just 2 games behind the Yankees. So for American League fans of the era, that '66 squad, which upset the Dodgers, really shouldn't have come as much surprise. The surprise being they upset the Dodgers, not that they won the league. Pitch to Bowens. There's a fly ball to right, and that ball is foul. A long, loud strike to Bowens, and the count is 0-2. Peters winds and fires, and there's now a fly ball to left. Nicholson will turn and watch it go. Oh, baby, was that well struck. That ball was absolutely hammered. And it's 3-1. Right over the middle of the plate, and Bowen's got all of that one. That's almost on the 34th Street. So Bowens will score. Brings up Earl Robinson, 273, 3 homers, and 10 RBI. Peters deals. Little chopper down to third. Ward across the way to McCraw for the out. Brings up Jerry Adair. Jerry obviously played with the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. Jerry at 248, 9 homers, and 47 RBI. Peters deals. Adair hits a ground ball to Buford. Don throws to first, and that will retire the side. 1 run on the homer by Bowens, a hit and no errors. We go to the third here in the Robinson Tribute game. It's the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. So Buford, Ward, and Hanson. It would be nice if Brooks would get a chance in this game, don't you think? Don singled his first time up in the first. Ground ball to Adair. Jerry underhands it to Seaburn for the out, 1 away. Here's Pete Ward. Pete is 0 for 1. If you want to have video evidence of just how good Brooks Robinson was at third, and again, the fact that he did it for so long, look up highlights of the 1970 World Series. That, I believe, defensively was his high water mark. Pitch to Ward. Pete swings, and that's a base hit past Adair into center field. That year was the first time that the World Series was played on AstroTurf in Cincinnati. Riverfront opened that summer. The All-Star game where Pete Rose broke Ray Fosse's shoulder. And Robinson just excelled in those games. It was always tough to play on infields in converted football stadiums, and trust me, Memorial is a football stadium they played baseball in. Hanson is 0 for 1. Pappas deals, and there's a fly ball to right. Bowens in the corner, and Sam is going to make the catch. How about that? Ward has to scamper back. Because Robinson primarily played in the 50s and 60s, Floyd Robinson struck out, by the way, his first time up. Good quality video of his defensive exploits just are hard to find. Pitch to Robinson. Gets away from Brown, and Ward will move up 90 on the pass ball. So a full count, 2 out for Robinson. Pap is already at 52 pitches here with 2 outs in the third. Milt's pitch, and there's a line drive to Adair, who makes the catch. And that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, and they'll leave a runner on. We go to the bottom of the third here in Baltimore, 3-1 Chicago. So Dick Brown, Pappas, and Aparicio to face Gary Peters here in the third. Dick at 257, 8 homers, and 32 RBI. We marvel at, as kids, at what Greg Nettles did at third in that 78 World Series, and I honestly think that Nettles won that World Series for the Yankees. It is hard to imagine, unless you watched him day in and day out or listened to Chuck Thompson on the radio day in and day out, just how many games, and we're not talking about WAR in this case, but how many games Brooks Robinson either won for Baltimore or kept them in till their offense took over. Brown hits a ground ball to Hanson over to first for the out. And, of course, in 66, the year that they won the World Series, they fleeced the Cincinnati Reds Not that Milt Pappas was a bad pitcher by any stretch, and it's not Broglio for Brock. But getting Frank Robinson to go in the middle of that lineup with Brooks Robinson and Boog Powell certainly didn't hurt. Milt Pappas, by the way, 129 and 64 with 4 RBI. So if you guys have any comments about Brooks, we'll read them out on the air. Pitch to Milt. Struck him out. That's 2 for Gary. A full count changeup. Hung on. Opening 9 for Peters. 33 pitches, 2 2/3. They hit the home run by Bowens. And 2 strikeouts. Aparicio is 0 for 1. Going to swing away here with 2 out. Flies this one to center. Weiss coming in. And will make the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 4th here in Baltimore. Still raining. It's the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. So Nicholson, McCraw, and McNerney to face Pappas here in the 4th. Dave struck out, one of Milt's 2 on the day. Fly ball, left field, Powell. And that will go foul. Oh, no, he caught it. It did go foul, and he made the catch. There's McCraw. Tommy doubled and scored in the 2nd. Pappas deals. Fly ball to right. Bowens will make the catch. 2 out. McNerney doubled after I poked fun at his teeth. And had an RBI. That came in the 2nd. Pitch. There's a line drive to Adair, and that will retire the side. So the White Sox go in order. We go to the bottom of the 4th at Chicago 3, Baltimore 1. And if you want to know about who were the best players of that era, here are the standings from 64. As we said, we weren't kidding. The Orioles went 97 and 65. The Yankees did not realize that this was it for them. Detroit, towards the end of some good years. The Angels were a 500 club. Cleveland and Minnesota. Minnesota on the verge of a pennant. The Red Sox were not. Washington and Kansas City, 18,000 miles behind. And, of course, the National League story is one that has been told over time. St. Louis taking advantage of a collapsing Phillies team in the last 10 days. The Reds finished also a game back. San Francisco 3, Milwaukee 5. Hard to believe that the Dodgers were only 82 and 80. So Brooks Robinson was 7th in baseball in batting average. He led the majors with Clete Boyer in RBI. Seaburn struck out his first time up. Brooks on deck. Powell in to follow. Peter starts the 4th. Norm strikes out. That's the 3rd for Gary. Robinson, of course, for a long time after he retired, was the color guy on Orioles television. Long before Jim Palmer put his jockey shorts back on and went in the booth. It was Brooks Robinson throughout the 80s for the over-the-air games. Pitch to Brooks. There's a fly ball center field. Back goes Weiss. Al will corral that on the track. 2 out for Boog Powell, who's 0 for 1. And he draws the walk. So a 2-out walk for Sam Bowen. Sam homered his first time up. It's another fly ball to left field. Nicholson, though, will track it down, and that will retire the side. Orioles leave on a man their first. No runs, no hits, no errors. To the 5th we go, and 3-1 Chicago. So here's Gary Peters, who I shortchanged his first time up. 208, 4 homers, and 19 RBI. And it's his 2-run homer that is the difference in this one. It's 3-1 White Sox as we start the 5th. Pappas winds and fires. That's into shallow left center. Robinson rides the Schwinn 1 out for Weiss, who's 0 for 2. So Pappas, 18 batters, 64 pitches, 4 1/3, 5 hits. The lone homer was Peters. Then Milt has fanned 2. So you guys have any memory of Brooks Robinson? Weiss swings, ground ball to Adair, over to Seaburn for the out. So Pappas has had the 1 bad inning and has settled in. Don Buford is 1 for 2 with a single. White Sox have 5 hits. Orioles just the 1, the homer by Bowens. And there's a slow chopper over the mound. Aparicio has it, goes to first, and that will retire the side. Halfway home on a cool, somber night in Burlington, Vermont, the White Sox lead the Orioles in the Brooks Robinson Tribute game 3-1. Well, if you joined us late, this is a tribute to Brooks Robinson, who passed away today, the 26th day of September 2023, at the age of 83. The best defensive third baseman in the history of the game, and of course, he's not had a chance yet in this game. Scoring-wise, the White Sox got 3 in the second. Jerry McNerney doubled home Tommy McCraw to make a 1-0 Chicago. Then Gary Peters just slammed one into the bleachers in right center to make it 3-0 in the bottom of the inning. Sam Bowens responded with an absolute moonshot to left field to make it 3-1. Peters, a 1-hitter through 4. He's walked 1 and struck out 3. Pappas, a 5-hitter through 5. 3 runs all earned. In the home run, he has struck out 2. And as far as defensively for Robinson, no putouts, no assists, and thankfully, no errors. Pete Ward, by the way, has had a ground ball hit in his direction. Wouldn't it be fitting, of course, in the tribute game that I do, that Brooks Robinson never touches the ball defensively? Earl Robinson, by the way, is 0 for 1 as we start the bottom of the 5th. And Peters got him to chase a full count fastball. So here's Adair. Jerry is 0 for 1. Peters winds and deals. Fly ball to left. Nicholson moving over. And that's foul. No, or that's an out. Because it's an odd stadium picture here. And if you're familiar with Action PC Baseball, you draw where you want the fielders to stand, and it just runs out of room there. And so, second time I got caught with that. 2 out for Dick Brown, who's 0 for 1. There's a fly ball, left center field. Weiss is running, and Al will grab it by the Baltimore pen. How about that? No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 6th. It's still the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. So Ward, Hanson, and Robinson to face Pappas. Pete has a single. He's 1 for 2. And there's a fly ball to right. Bowens will make the play, 1 out. It has rained all the way through this game, kind of appropriately. 64 degrees and no wind. And this picture that you see that we're playing on is from the 71 World Series. And yes, boys and girls, that's what passed for a quality Major League field in 1971. Ron Hansen is 0 for 2. Struck him out. Pappas got him on a 1-2 fastball looking. 2 out for Floyd Robinson, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Pappas rears back, ground ball to Jerry again at second. He's been a busy beaver over to Seaburn, and that'll do it. So, after 5.5, no runs, no hits, and no errors, it's still the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. So, Pappas, Aparicio, and Seaburn to face Peters here in the 6th. Milt struck out his first time up. And we'll get him again. Peters is dealing, isn't he? An 0-2 fastball swung on and missed. So opening 18 for Gary, 5 1/3. 70 pitches, the 1 homer to Sam Bowens. That's been the lone hit for Baltimore. A walk and 5 strikeouts. Aparicio with the infield back is going to lay one down here. He's 0 for 2. It is down. McNerney throws to Buford covering the bag, and Louis is retired. 2 out for Seaburn, who has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. There's a ground ball to Hansen deep in the hole. Ron throws to first, and McCraw is there, and that is the side. Goodness gracious, we've played 6.5 hours. After 6, no, it's the White Sox 3, the Orioles 1. Nicholson is 0 for 2. Dave struck out. McCraw and McNerney to follow, and if anybody should reach, Gary Peters. That's a base hit in the left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Powell, I guess, came up as a left fielder. Throws it into Robinson as Nicholson slides into second standing. That's the 6th hit for the White Sox. 3-6-0 for Chicago. They've left on 2. The Orioles, a run, a hit, no errors, and they've left on 1. Thank you, truck outside. McCraw is 1 for 2. Tommy has doubled and scored. That came in the 2nd. Ground ball to Jerry Adair over to Seaburn, and runners out. Robinson and Nicholson have a few words at third. 1 out. McNerney had a double, an RBI in the 2nd, and would later score on the Peters homer. And McNerney walks, so they'll take that. 1 out for Peters, who's not really a good bunter with runners on base with more than 1 out, or with 1 out. Robinson and Seaburn play for the bunt. Peters rips this one up the middle for a base hit. So Gary Peters has 3 RBI in this ball game, and it's now 4-1. Norm Seaburn goes over to talk to Gary and says, "This isn't your tribute game." Gary says, "I like crashing parties." Norm says, "It's not your game." Al Weiss is 0 for 3. Pappas opening 27 on 6 1/3, 98 pitches, 7 hits, the home run to Peters of all people, a walk and 3 strikeouts. Brown goes out and reminds Pappas to keep the ball down in the zone. Weiss, a ground ball. Aparicio on the grass, takes it to the bag at second for 1, over to Seaburn, and Weiss is safe. So McNerney goes over to chat with Robinson at third, and it goes in as a fielder's choice, 6U. Here's Don Buford. Don is 1 for 3. And Buford gets hit. Pappas is starting to become unglued a bit. Bases loaded, 2 out for Pete Ward, who's 1 for 3. He has singled. And Ward walks home a run. McNerney will score. Weiss and Robinson have a word. Then we will get rid of Mr. Pappas. Let's see. Dick Hall will come in. Hall, 45 appearances for the Orioles. Turkey, I don't really want to know. 33 years old, fastball, a Bugs Bunny 83, and a fly ball plus pitcher. 45 appearances, 88 innings, 58 hits, 19 runs, 18 earned, 8 home runs. He walked 16 and struck out 52. He went 9-1 for Baltimore, saving 7 games with an earned run average of 184, and his whip 0.841. In the pitching era, you know you're good when your ERA plus is 198. Bases loaded, 2 out, 5-1 Chicago. Ron Hansen is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Hall gets into his effort with a looper into center field. That's just going to drop in front of Robinson. Weiss will score. Buford should scamper around third. Robinson's throw to the plate is not in time, and Pete Ward and Brooks Robinson have a conversation, and it's 7-1. Was that an error? No. But the White Sox have a spot on the board here in the 7th. Here's Floyd Robinson, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Would somebody just pop out to third or something like that? Pitch to Floyd, hit him. So Hall a bit peeved. You'd think that the Robinson says a few words to Hall. Here's Nicholson. Dave 1 for 3, a double, a run scored, and a strikeout. Struck him out, and that'll mercifully end the inning. Stretch time, 7-1 Chicago. Well, it is the man of the hour, Brooks Robinson, who is 0 for 2. They now trail 7-1 to the Orioles. 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and the White Sox have left on 5. In an inning that will just go down as ugly if you're an Oriole fan. Pitch to Robinson is a swing and a ground ball to Buford over to McCraw, and Robinson is out. It was close, but he's out. Here's Boog Powell. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck him out. Gary Peters is pitching an absolute gem. That's his 6th. 2 out for Sam Bowens, who was the lone hit in this game for Baltimore. Sam homered in the 2nd. That's it. Pitch from Peters. Bowens draws the walk, so he'll reach. 3-1 fast curveball was low. Here's Earl Robinson, who's 0 for 2 with the strikeout. We want to get Brooks one more at bat if we can. There's a ground ball to Hansen, close to the bag at second. In fact, he'll take it himself, and that will retire the side. After 7, of course this was going to happen. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 8th. It's the White Sox 7, the Orioles 1. Yeah, D. Scott, it's not a happy night for sure. McCraw 1 for 3, a double and a run scored. What are your memories of Brooks Robinson? Pitch to McCraw. There's a pop-up. Robinson is finally going to get a chance to do something in this game into foul territory and makes a great play. Of course he does. That was into foul territory, and he reached in the dugout, and even there, the seas parted and Brooks made the play. So here's McNerney. Jerry 1 for 2, a double, an RBI. He has scored twice and walked. Hall deals. And there's a fly ball, right center field. Robinson is there. 2 out. I remember getting his card in the late 70s. And, of course, I believe he must have broken some 66 World Series. He was so good, he says. Scotty says. Gary Peters is having himself a day. He's throwing a one-hitter. He's 2 for 3. He's homered and driven in 3. It may have been the 77 Robinson card coming off another Gold Glove or whatever it was. But you knew that he had played for a while because when you sat there and read the back of his Topps baseball card, they had to go with a smaller font. And you always, no matter who it was, took the time to read that because it meant they had played forever. Pitch to Peters. Gary sends this one down the line and right. And Bowens reaches in the stands and makes the catch. So finally a quiet inning for Chicago. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom of the 8th, 7-1 White Sox. So Adair Brown and a pinch hitter to face the white-hot Gary Peters here in the 8th. So we will see Brooks bat one more time. Adair is 0 for 2. Peters deals. And there's a ground ball to Hansen. Ron picks it up over to first. I was talking about that earlier, Tribe fan. You could find the actual videotape of what he did in 70. And I'm trying to think. I don't think in 1970 there were any artificial surface fields in the American League. Here's Dick Brown. He's 0 for 2. The Royals still played at Municipal, so they played on grass. Pitch to Brown. There's a ground ball to Hansen. Ron throws it over to McCraw for the out. And so the show that Robinson put on in Cincinnati was even more special because he had never played on the stuff before. Outside of that 60 or 70 All-Star game and the 68 All-Star game in Houston. Dick Hall will get pinch hit for who can hit a lefty, and it's going to be won't be Jackie Bryant. Municipal Stadium in Kansas City is probably one of the few zero-chance ballpark homers in Strat. Wow, that was a big part. Yep. Oh, and Scotty was the right age. He was 14 and 66. Jackie Bryant, not known for his time in Houston. 243, 13 homers, and 47 RBI. Peters cruising right along, and Bryant strikes out. That's 7. We go to the 9th here in Baltimore. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the White Sox 7 and the Orioles 1. Stu Miller, one of the best relief pitchers of the 1960s. 7-7 in 64, and maybe you pour yourself one. 23 saves, an earned run average of .306. 97 innings, 77 hits. 7 homers allowed, 34 walks. 88 strikeouts, 36 years old. I believe that is correct, Tribe fan. Miller throws the fastball at 87 and a ground ball. Oh, no. Weiss was in with the Mets. He hit a couple homers, hit a big home run in that World Series. But you're right about Tommy Agee being with the White Sox. Weiss is 0 for 4. He has scored. There's a ground ball to Seaburn, who will underhand it to Miller, who is not a great fielder. Yeah, Weiss was with the White Sox prior to the Mets. And so was Agee. Don Buford is 1 for 3. Don is singled and scored. And that's fouled back. So the count is 0-2. It'll be Aparicio, Seaburn, and Robinson in the 9th. Buford hits a ground ball to Seaburn. Norm takes it to the bag himself for the out. So here's Pete Ward. Ward 1 for 3. He has singled, walked, and driven in a run. There's a ground ball right side to Bowens. And that's another hit. Agee and Weiss went from the White Sox to the Mets. Now, pay attention if you're doing Immaculate Grid here, okay? For Buddy Booker, Tommy Davis, Jack Fisher, the pitcher, and Billy Wynn. 2 of those names I know. I've never heard of Buddy Booker or Billy Wynn until now. 2 out for Hansen. Ron's had a good ball game. 1 for 4. He's driven in 2 and struck out. In the left center, Robinson going back, and Eddie will make the catch. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance saloon now for the Orioles. They only need 6 to tie and 7 to win. But Gary Peters is throwing a 1-hitter. Aparicio is 0 for 3. Ground ball to Ward. Pete, good throw to first. And Louie is retired. Brings up Seaburn. Norm is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Got him for number 8. And the last chance saloon, of course, is Brooks Robinson, who is 0 for 3. And everybody's up for this. Traditionally, we give the Digital and Ice MVP to the person we're honoring. But when you throw a 1-hitter, hit a home run, and drive in 3 runs, Gary Peters is going to be the co-MVP. So Robinson digging in. A sellout crowd here at Memorial Stadium. The rain, by the way, has stopped, is giving their tribute to Brooks. Peters takes a deep breath and fires, and there's a line drive to right, and he's going to get a base hit. So Robinson, who didn't have bad speed, only has the second hit of the ball game for Baltimore. Here's Boog Powell. 0 for 2, a walk and a strikeout. Yeah, Tommy Davis was drafted by the expansion pilots after '68. Scotty must have been happy because Tommy played some good ball with the Dodgers. So, at least Brooks did something in the game. Pitched to Powell. Struck him out and the ball game's over. So, in 2 hours and 39 fake minutes, wow, Cleveland lost to the Reds tonight 11-7. The White Sox, 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Brooks Robinson, 1 for 4, and did have a putout, so not bad. Gary Peters throws a 2-hitter, a home run to Sam Bowens in a 9th inning single to Brooks Robinson. He walks 2 and strikes out 9. Yeah, what Tommy Davis could have done if he hadn't broken his ankle in early '65. Milt Pappas takes a loss. He was not good. 6 2/3, 7 hits, 7 runs, all earned. A homer, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Gary Peters, 2 for 4, a 2-run shot, an RBI single, and throws a 2-hitter. But, of course, the MVP is Brooks Robinson. Wish we could have done better for Baltimore in this. But hopefully you get some sort of indication of what he meant. Again, maybe one of the most feared hitters between Mantle in the early 60s and what Frank Robinson and Carl Yastrzemski would do in the latter half of the 60s. Again, between 64 and 66, no worse than 3rd in the MVP voting. And again, one continuous Gold Glove from 58 to 75. an ambassador for Baltimore, one of the more popular players in baseball of all time, an announcer for the Orioles on TV. Brooks Robinson will be missed, and we thank him for all the years he gave to our sport. For now, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much. Just have a good night, and thank you, Brooks, for everything.